Hi, and welcome to the Worship Cafe. This is Olan, and I hope your week's been great. So, today we're talking about free apps. Free apps. I love free stuff. I'm sure you do. We can pay for stuff, but we just get tickled every time someone says, oh, by the way, you can get this for free if you paid this. If you upgrade to this, you get this for free. And you just think, well, okay, might as well do that. So, today we're talking about free apps, and this can apply to everyone and anybody. I don't know what you do, whether you're a producer, singer-songwriter, worship leader, or someone who edits videos, you create blogs, vlogs. What it is that you do professionally or on the side, like that's your side hustle. Let's talk about free apps for a minute. Now, everyone knows that, as a creative, you have a period where you're just starting out. And so in that period, you don't really have a lot of money, not a lot of contacts, and not a lot of skills. So you do have basic skills, but you're not at the pro level yet. So you're accepting jobs on the side and trying to bootstrap your way up to the top, which is great. That's where everyone starts out. Okay, everyone, unless you're born into a dynasty where money, you probably own the mint, and that's different. For most people that I know, we're born normal, okay? We're born with a wooden spoon or with no spoon at all. Anyway, so free apps is where everyone starts out. You scour the internet for free apps, whether you want a free tool like I use Final Cut Pro for basic editing that I do. I'm not a full-time videographer, but I know friends who are, and they inspire me to want to go on that journey. I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a home studio producer, and I also dabble into vlogging, which is why you're listening to this podcast anyway. But I've leveraged free tools over the time, and I want to talk to this, start this podcast about free tools. A lot of times we're looking for paid solutions because we think these paid solutions will deliver tailor-made solutions to what we want. If you're a videographer, you don't want to go through the basic edits. You want to just get, a lot or something that can just do that color correction for you, or just do that cut to this and that slide to this, and that's great. If you're a musician out there or a singer and you get a DAW that has its own beats, its own virtual instruments, it saves you having to buy physical instruments. It's a cut to the chase for you. But many of those DAWs are not free, and the free versions don't have all the plugins you want. But let's take it back a bit. How much of the free plugins have we been able to maximize? And I'm talking about plugins now. So if you use a DAW, Ableton Live, GarageBand, for instance, that comes with your iPad, if you have an iPad, if you're an Apple user, or Audacity, that's like a free software, like everyone is like a free source, open source, and everyone's contributing into it. There's so many big tools out there, guys, that we can be using as creators to get our songs out, to get our ideas out. They do not necessarily need a full-fledged studio space to get your scratch tracks out. Now, will these productions be 100%? No, but they don't need to be 100%, because if you're going to take that track to a producer to say, look, this is my idea, this is what I'm thinking, this is the overall structure, it's going to save the producer a lot of time and effort. I have a friend who's saying to me, I think it was Wale Oni was saying, he had a client, it's a very respected client, but the client was saying to him, I want you to play Tarara. And he's like, okay, Tarara. He was like, whatever soul for notes. But the guy says, no, not Tarara. I mean Tarara. He was like, okay, well, he did Tarara. I said, no, not Tarara. I want you to play Tarara. He was like, no, this is not going anywhere, is it? Because he wasn't able to express himself. But if he had found a free tool like Audacity and sang whatever Tarara was, or tried to arrange the beats by clicking and dragging, he would have done something that was a representation that my friend, the producer, would have been able to work with. So where am I going with this? How much of the free tools out there have you been able to use? How much of it do you even know exists? Like on your phones, the phones we carry around every day, you can download beat loops on there. Yeah, Apple, there's so many loop devices that you can, some of them are cheap, okay, a couple of quid, you can have them. I know that people who live in parts of the world where a couple of quid means a lot. I take it, I get it. There are free ones there, they allow you to use a couple of beats that are free. And some of these softwares even allow you to make your own beats on them. And you can even beatbox. You can record your own audio and loop it. It's just, how creative are you with the tools that you currently have? That's the real question here. It's not about what you have or what you don't have. It's how creative are you with the free tools you currently have? Okay, that's on the production side. Let's talk to the singer-songwriters. Let's talk to the worship leaders. Let's talk to the people who really want to create content. We always say content is king. Content is king. In fact, by the way, there's a new gold out there, and I'll be hush about this. I'll probably bring it up in the next episode. There's a new gold out there. Okay, like it's not physical. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. What I think, what and why I've called it the new gold. Okay, but let's just keep it simple. In the next episode, we'll talk about that. All right. So, but this time I want to talk about the free tools out there. So you've got your social media page. What do you do on social media? I find a lot of people just spending time swiping and liking and swiping and liking, and it's probably like frenemies. So you are a friend of someone, you follow them, not because you really love them, but you really like, I want to match what they do. So if they do this, I'm going to do that. You know, just matching them. Okay, I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong, but they're frenemies. You're not really like, following them or rooting for them. You're just like, whatever they do, I'm going to match. God knows where you live. God knows the dictates of your heart. I'm not going to get into that whole space. But if that's what you do, that's great. People are just content consumers. You just consume content. Oh, this person's doing this amazing stuff. I like it and share it and follow it. That's great. The world needs people like you. I need people like you. The world needs people. But if you're going to be a creative, like you're the one creating content, and we say content is king, you cannot afford to have a page that has only content once a month. Okay? You have content only once a year when you have your concert coming up. You have concert only once when you feel that the Holy Spirit moved you. Oh, we had a wonderful service today, and you put the one post there, and that's it. You know, where are your followers going to go? If they are following you, they need to be seeing your good works. They need to be seeing activity on your account. And guess what, guys? For the most part, it is free, absolutely free. Just post what you're doing. So the question is, are you doing? That's the very first question. And if you're doing, what are you doing? And if the second question is answered, are you documenting what you're doing? Like, I'm asking these questions because I've been there. In fact, in many ways, I am there. Like, I'm even guilty. Like, I don't post half of the stuff that I do because for some reason, I'm always asking myself, what's the relevance of this? Am I trying to show off, or is this going to actually help someone? Because that's all I want to do. I want to help someone. I don't want to, put myself in this pedestal and it's like, oh, look at me, who I am. I'm made. Like, trust me, it's not about me. And I realize it's not about me. So I'm cool with it. If you don't know who I am, you never see my face, great. I just hope that you get helped, because not a lot of people were available to do this sort of thing when I was coming up. I didn't have a lot of people that could really mentor me from close by. Thank God for the internet. It's opened up a lot of things. We can access people, we can access their works, we can listen to their thoughts through their podcasts. I used to think podcasts were like very pointless. They're talking about stuff that was just outside of my purview. Like, podcasts were more about science gadgets and economic things and all of that, but now it's really fizzled out. Even people who make cakes have podcasts. People who tend to cats have podcasts. People who think of anything obscure out there have got podcasts. Fishers, fishermen, you name it. Traders, stock exchange people, like vloggers have podcasts. How much more worship leaders? This is worship, man. It's something that changes lives. This is creativity. And this is an extension of God's plan. God created us to be in His presence and to thrive. And in His presence is fullness of joy. At His right hand is pleasures forevermore. Like, go figure. There's music, there's this worship, this expressions of colors and beauty and everything creative. So, what are you doing with the abilities and the talents and the giftings that God has graced you with? What are you doing with them? And I'm not asking you to have a budget now. I'm just talking about free tools. Now, how can you put these things out there free? Because your social media pages are free. Your social media handles are free. So let's talk about Instagram. 60 seconds videos of what you're doing. The best snippet. Don't post the beginning. Now, nobody has time. Nobody's waiting for it to get to the climax. Post the climax, move on. Because trust me, people are going to view that thing for 60 seconds. If they like it, they'll watch it the second time, and that's it. They're gone. And that's it. They're gone. So post the best 60-second snippet. Everyone can do this. Go through your phone, find the best 60 seconds. And I always say it, just wait for the chorus bit. It's not rocket science. What was the part of the song that made you think, that was a good one, that was a good part? That's what you should be posting. It's free. Post it and move on. Put a little commentary under it to explain what you're trying to say and say, look, this is what we experienced and this was the interaction, and see what comes out of it. One or two people will stop by, give a fire emoji, give a like, a hallelujah wave or something. Some people will come back and give you comments. Don't just click like. reply to the comments, because when you reply to the comments, the people are more likely to also to reply as well, and that keeps the conversation going. When one or two or three people have said something on that feed, many more people want to come back and say things on that feed, and so it keeps the conversation going. The algorithm also loves keeping the conversation because it keeps more people on the platform. So it's a rant, but guys, free tools. So that was just Instagram. Let's talk about that was your Instagram feed. Your Instagram stories, my days. Post as many stories as you want every day about stuff that you know in 24 hours is going to be gone. There's something about stories that people can just swipe, they can just see, they can swipe. There are people who just, I just putting stuff on my stories, and I meet them as colleagues at work, and they say, oh, we followed you, we saw this, we saw that. I'm like, really? Like my old schoolmates, they say, oh, we saw that, we saw that. I'm like, oh, really? Like, I'm just putting them on my stories, and I'm not even worried about what's happening with them. 24-hour cycle, it will be gone. If something else happens, you put them up there. If you don't want them on your page permanently, you can put them on your stories. Stories get seen by even a lot more people who don't follow you. So if you haven't been using your Instagram stories, now is the time to start using it, because people are on their phones a lot now that there is a lockdown. So this is the time. Content is king. If you're the person who puts content, I've got a friend, she's in Turkey, and she puts like her pages, just like Instagram story after Instagram story, and I'm like, wow. Like, if not for anything, I'll just come and watch your channel, because I know that there'll be something there for me to see. She's posting stuff by other worship leaders, she's posting stuff from all over the globe, and I'm like, this is great. I mean, she doesn't own half of the content that she posts, but they're relevant stuff. You can come there and be blessed in the snippets that she posts, and that's great. You can be that channel too. People will come to your story and they'll watch, and some people will follow you because of it. You know, some people will unfollow you, but that's life. You can't win every battle. So that's Instagram. Let's talk about YouTube. So there's YouTube, and you post one video of your song release, another one video of your coming soon, yeah, and the countdown, and that's it till next year again, till you have another song release or you have a concert. That's just too infrequent for your channel to even be on the radar. I was listening to to someone who's training YouTube guys, you know, creatives, and he says, "Look, you're starting out on YouTube. Just go and get your first 35 videos posted." I'm like, "What did you say? 35 videos? Like, how can I have 35 music videos? Like, if I had 35 music videos, I need to have my own record label. 35, you know how much it costs to make one music video, one decent music video? But then the thing is, you don't always have to put a music video out there, because it costs an arm and a leg, a ton of cash you don't have. So you don't need a ton of cash to do just one music video. You can start creating other things that people would like, you know, document your journey as a worship leader. What do you do? Do you wake up in the morning and just have ice cream, or you wake up in the morning and say a prayer? Do you take walks? That's something interesting. Somebody wants to know, where'd you walk? Where'd you live? Oh man, I live in some rough neighborhood, man. You need to pray for me. He said, really? You came out of this? I thought, you're a blessing. You know, I can see where you're at, where you've come from, and where you're going. I can see your heart. And they see the backstories. And these backstories help. You say, well, I can see where I am right now, and I can relate to David, I can relate to Daniel, I can relate it to this, and you know, this is what's going on. You're sharing your opinion on Bible, you know, references to the Bible that are relevant today, and you're making it available to people. That is content, guys. I'm giving this free away. I should be having a webinar, like, talking about this stuff and having you all come and sign up and stuff, but you know, that's just who I am. I want to give this away absolutely free. So please take this, run with it, share it to your friends. You know, give me feedback. I want to know if this is useful or this is just a rant. You know, I'm not going to stop anyway. I'm just going to give it out because that's what it is, plain and simple. What are you doing with the free apps? I just talked about YouTube. You have 2 videos there since the last 3 years, and you're saying, why am I not getting followers? Well, go figure. People will come and watch all of 2 videos in 10 minutes, and then what do they do next? They just go on to the next channel that has more content and stay there. Yeah, that's how it works. So you have to get up, you have to create. But it's expensive, I know. That's why you've got a mobile phone, so get creative. Take your mobile phone. You remember with last episode we talked about being creative, how to shoot a music video, you know, with a 0 budget. But now it's not even a music video, it's just you ranting, you talking. But then if that's your gift, if that's your strength, then talk. Edit, snip, put some background music, boom. The more you look into this, guys, the more you realize it's possible. There's too many Afro-Caribbean worship leaders, too many of us, for us to not have podcasts just streaming over. We should have so many people putting. I listen to Becca Folks. I follow Becca Folks. If you don't know her, by the way, you need to follow her. Becca Folks, amazing worship leader. Like, you know, I met her once. She came to my church to minister. Much younger than I am, but brilliant worship leader. Brilliant vocals, brilliant stage persona. It's unbelievable, like a new level, like, and young person, but she's doing amazing things. And she started a podcast as well. She does her stuff, and it's resonating with the young people in her demographic, which is brilliant. Everybody has a story to tell. Yeah, I was going to say this. Tell your story. Okay? Tell your story. The world wants to know your story. We've heard of Phil Thompson. We know who he is. We've heard of Donnie McClurkin. We know who he is. We heard of these guys, all right? We know who they are. We heard their stories. What about your story? When are you going to tell your story? And I said it's not about you guys. It's really not about you. So this is not about me trying to show off of who I am. I'm a Grammy nominated worship leader from Southeast London. Nobody cares. Ask me, who won the Grammy 2 years ago? Who won the Grammy 5 years ago? I'll have to Google it to tell you. Because really, after the night, after the ceremonies, the gala, the pictures, it fizzles away. Like only the nerdy, stats nerds people will remember these things. I don't remember it. I'm just an everyday consumer of music. And that's the way it works. So be yourself. Tell your story. Leverage all the free tools out there. I've only talked about Instagram and YouTube. There's so many other things. There's email, there's web pages, yada yada yada. Come on, guys, let's start digging. I want to hear from you. If this has been helpful, useful for you in any way, you can follow me on Instagram at Olan for Life. You can follow me on Twitter at Olan for Life. You can follow me on YouTube at YouTube/Olan for Life 2. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye and God bless.